Bricks used to look nice and straight, but now they're crooked and some have crumbled. What happened? It seems like the trees were breaking the bricks. Is that really possible for plants or trees to break something as strong as rock? That sounds crazy. Roots aren't that tough, are they? But let me show you something. Here's a whole bunch of solid rock. It's what used to be a lava flow. But the lava cooled, and so now it's solid rock, and it's tough. You would think that it would be here forever, but if you look closely, as it cooled, it left some little cracks. Those are its weak spots. Seeds can land in the cracks. And when those seeds get rained on, they grow. Let's look more closely. Imagine a seed that's fallen in the crack of a rock. Now let's imagine the seed grows a little root like that. And the root will grow, and it'll grow, and grow, until it fills up the crack. Notice that the root didn't just get longer, it got wider too. Now the root doesn't just stop there, it keeps growing. As the root grows bigger, it pushes outwards like this, until eventually, crack. It breaks the rock, making the crack wider and deeper. Eventually, that section of rock will even split off entirely, creating a new chunk of rock. What you just saw here, scientists have a name for this. They call it root wedging, because a root wedges itself into the crack and widens the crack. So does this explain how large Mayan pyramids could have become hidden in the jungle? Well, think again about what was found. It was a forest of trees growing on top of a pile of rocks, and when they removed the trees, the inner layer of the pyramid was underneath. So now you can understand what happened. Between every brick is a crack. That's a perfect opportunity for a seed. When the Mayans were around, they probably kept their pyramids looking very nice, sweeping away any seeds that might have fallen into the cracks. But when the Mayans left their pyramids behind, the jungle took over. The surrounding trees dropped their seeds into the spaces between every brick, and the roots grew and grew, breaking up the outer layer of the pyramid. That's why when the Mayan pyramid was rediscovered, it looked like this, just a pile of rocks with trees growing out of it. Now that we know this is what happens, lots of other Mayan pyramids are being rediscovered. Hike around the jungles of southern Mexico, and you might even be the person who rediscovers one of the old pyramids. The first clue is to look for a pile of rocks with trees growing out of it. Now, you may not be planning any trips to the jungles of southern Mexico soon. Still, you can actually see root wedging happening in your neighborhood. You don't have Mayan pyramids in your neighborhood, but you do have sidewalks. Sidewalks don't last forever. If you look around, you can almost always spot at least one section of sidewalk where there's a small crack that's started to form. Just look for the plant or tree that's causing it. It's root wedging. Like, check this out. Can you tell what's going on here? This tree's roots were so powerful that they actually broke apart this section of sidewalk. Just the same as if someone had tried to destroy it with a jackhammer. Isn't that incredible? And look at this. Here's a brick wall that's been cracked, just like the Mayan pyramids. So, root wedging. It's one way that a large slab of rock, like a mountain or a pyramid, gets broken down into smaller pieces. But it's not the only way. In fact, one of the most common ways involves something totally other than roots. Consider again this solid slab of rock, like this lava rock, which left some cracks in it as it cooled. Seeds aren't the only things that can fall into those cracks. You see, as it rains, water seeps into the cracks too. And that alone can cause problems. Water? Yeah, you heard me right, water. Let's look more closely. Here's some rainwater in a crack. Now by itself, the water doesn't seem like much, but as the year goes on, winter approaches. And you know what happens to that water as winter approaches? It freezes. Well, something special happens when water freezes. Do you know what? I'll give you a hint. Have you ever heard not to put a can of soda in the freezer? Why do people say that? Don't put a can of soda in the freezer.